Buongiorno, everybody, and welcome to Travel Explore Celebrate Live. This is Sunila and Neil welcoming you to yet another episode. And today, Neil, I thought let's go to the land of pizza and the land of pasta and the land of amazing coastlines and something that we all love so much. You know, when you talk with your hands and you eat with your hands, it's a land that's really warm. The people are warm, and you say grazie everywhere you go. Let's go to Italy today, Neil.
Indeed, you talk with your hands, right? And
Yes.
that's what you keep seeing everywhere in Italy. And my last trip to Italy was actually, you know, a couple years ago or 3 years ago, where I did a self-drive trip, and it was quite nice. And like you rightly said, let's talk about Italy, but specifically, let's talk about something that has been a travel marvel, an engineering marvel for centuries now. Let's talk about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Now, Sunila, the Leaning Tower of Pisa has been an icon in itself. Of course, everyone flies to Rome, checks out the Colosseum, checks out the
Mhm.
Vatican, and then they like drive down to Pisa. And once you park your car, it's a lot of walking until you get to the Leaning Tower. But the
Yes.
Leaning Tower, when once you see it, you see tourists standing like before the Leaning Tower, trying to create all of these pictures by just holding their hands as if they are supporting the tower from falling and all of that. And when you click those photos from another angle and not of the tower, those photos just look very funny. But I think a good point would be to ask you, and that everyone asks, like, why is the Leaning Tower the Leaning Tower? Why does it lean?
Yeah, I think that's a great point to start, Neil. And like you said, it is indeed an engineering marvel, but I think it is also one of the worst architectural mistakes ever, right? So let's start with why is it leaning? And I think they're actually thankful it's leaning, because otherwise it wouldn't be that famous. It would be any other belfry or any other tower or a campanile, like the bell towers that are called belfry. So it would just be one more tower of one more cathedral somewhere in Italy. But they are lucky that it's leaning and it's attracting so many people from all over the world. And the story goes back that it was constructed something like 845 or 850 years back. And when they started building it, Niels, around 1132, what happened was the tower was meant to be really tall. So Pisa was this amazing city where there were a lot of wealthy people, and they had been, all the states of Italy were in war with each other. So you have these states which are fighting with each other. They're collecting riches from all the other states. So Pisa in fact had a lot of riches that came from Sicily, and they wanted some place where they could display all of this as well. And they started building this amazing Piazza del Duomo, or the square of with the Duomo, or as they call it today, the Square of Miracles. So you have the baptistry, and you have the main attraction, which was supposed to be the main attraction, the cathedral, and then you have the tower. And they thought, let's make the tower really high, really tall. At that time, of course, there was nothing that was that tall. We have to remember when it was built. And they decided to build it for something like 190 feet. In reality, it ended up being somewhere around 185 feet. They started building it, and for a tower that tall, the foundation was only 3 feet under. To make things worse, the land, it all comes to where Pisa is situated. So Pisa is on the banks of the Arno River, which makes the land really marshy, and it was actually on the coast at that time. So it was a coastal town. Of course, the silt and other things from the river settled down, and the coast went further off from Pisa today. But at that point, it was really on the coast. So you have this marshy land, and you're trying to build a really tall structure there. So it was doomed to happen. It was to happen. And like, I think 5 years after they started building it, it already started leaning, and leaning, and how. So yeah, that's why it's leaning today. So you
So,
try and
like,
build something which is not on something firm. This is what you get.
So it's known to lean, like today it's leaning approximately 3.92 meters, right? Or sorry, 3.92 degrees or
Degrees.
four
Yeah.
degrees. So in terms of height, in feet, how much is the height currently?
So it depends on which side you're looking at. On
Exactly.
one side, the height is 185 feet, and on the other side, it's lesser by 2 feet. So it really depends on which side you're measuring the height.
And you can go up the Leaning Tower, right?
Oh, yes, you can go up. I mean, if you're brave enough and you're not worried, it's all safe. But today, honestly, it's been restored, thankfully. And yes, you can climb up. So it's like imagining a hollow cylinder, and the steps are, in that cylinder, and then you go up there. So 296 steps. Again, there is that thing whether
296 or 294 steps, because there are 2 additional steps on the north side staircase, right?
Correct. So again, it depends like the height, whether you're counting from which side are you counting the steps. So yes, you can climb either 294 or 296 steps and get to the top. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So, of course it is leaning, but the person who built it is also a mystery sort of, or there is controversy surrounding it. So everyone says that it was Bonanno Pisano who actually built it, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right, Neil, but they are not sure. And the reason they say it is because they actually found a plaque. I think it's not really well documented as to who built it. And probably there was more than one person involved, given that it's so beautiful. And, if you see it in details, if you look at the cathedral nearby, you look at the baptistry, I mean, the sculptures are just stunning. So they use the marble from the nearby mountains of Pisa, and they started building it. But of course, for me, Bonanno Pisano and Pisa it's just easiest to remember. So it makes life easy to say that Bonanno Pisano was credited with building it. But they found a plaque on, with his name on it at Pisa, and that is why they think that probably he built it. But I think there were a few others whose names also feature, right?
Yeah, Sunila, you are absolutely right. It is Bonanno Pisano and also Guglielmo who are attributed with being the architects of the Leaning Tower. Now, Bonanno Pisano was a well-known artist from Pisa who left Pisa, then came back. He was known for his bronze casting. And then you're absolutely right that, they found this bronze piece of cast, which was buried there and all of that. And that's why it was named after him. But then what so happened is that in 2001, a study was conducted, and it was Diotti Salvi, or Diotti Salvi, as the Italians would say it, who was deemed to be the original architect. How did this study find out that he was the original architect? They said that many of Diotti Salvi's works were similar to the Leaning Tower. Now, which are these works? It is the bell tower of San Nicola, or it is the baptistry that is there in Pisa. Now, Diotti Salvi was a renowned architect during that time. He had all of these works, and that's how it was deemed that he might be the architect who built the Leaning Tower, which is still a mystery, but oh well, that's how the story goes. But as the Leaning Tower has been built, there were also some science experiments that were done through the top, right?
Yes, Neil. I think our most famous father of modern science, as we call him, because he was everything. He was a mathematician, he was a physician, he was astronomer, he was everything. So the most famous scientist of Italy, Galileo Galilei, was during the 16th century conducted a few experiments here, and he actually went up the Leaning Tower of Pisa and is said to have dropped 2 spheres of different masses, and then he was checking whether they dropped down at the same time, and he proved that there is free fall, which means that whatever is the mass, it's independent. Free fall is independent of the mass. So I think it's amazing that something so beautiful was also part of a science experiment.
Yeah, indeed. And there have been many things surrounding, of course, Galileo did this, but the Leaning Tower has been called the Leaning Tower of Pisa for a long, long, long time. But when it comes to world records, many, or I would say 2 places have challenged whether the Leaning Tower of Pisa, is it the most leaning tower in the world? And there are these 2 German churches that actually challenge this status that they have. That was the 15th century square, which is called the Leaning Tower of Surhusen. And there is the 14th century bell tower in the town of Bad Frankenhausen. Now, these 2 towers actually challenged Guinness that, okay, in the Guinness Book of World Records, it can't be the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but it has to be some other tower, which could be either of these 2, that is the most leaning tower in the world. Now, to give you an idea, the Leaning Tower of Pisa tilts 3.97 degrees. But in June 2010, the Guinness World Records certified the Capitol Gate building in Abu Dhabi, UAE, as the world's furthest leaning man-made tower. Now, I said 3.97. What do you think the tilt of this Capital Gate building is in Abu Dhabi?
Wow, I can't even imagine what that would be. I'm sure it's more than 8 degrees or something. Maybe I'm just taking a guess here.
It's 18 degrees.
Wow.
Which is almost 5 times the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And it has been deliberately engineered to slant as compared to the Leaning Tower, which was like, built to be straight, but then started leaning. And, you know, when you're going from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, you actually, if you take one route, you actually see this building. So I don't know whether you've seen it, but I have certainly seen it many times. And if you Google the Capital Gate building in Abu Dhabi, you'll know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, there is another building that is in the southern hemisphere. Have you been to Wanaka?
Yes, Neil, I think I know what you're talking about. And that puzzling word, you have the Leaning Tower as
Exactly.
well. It's a really fun place to be. Other than the fact that it's a very beautiful place, I mean, Lake Wanaka is simply stunning. But the puzzling word is really good fun out there, isn't it?
Yeah, like one puzzling world. It's like when you're going in there, you're an adult and you're like, oh wow, like children will enjoy over here.
Yeah.
But then there's the maze. There are all of these small puzzles that are there, which I think are incredible. And if anyone who's listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, if you're going to Wanaka or if you're going to New Zealand, make sure Puzzling World is on that. So the Leaning Tower of Wanaka in New Zealand, Sunila, is 53 degrees leaning.
Wow.
And imagine, like, that has been again built
purposefully
built and not something else. Now, what else do you have for us?
Neil, I think it's really interesting that once it started leaning, what saved the tower? I mean, there are so many things in history, I think, that the tower owes its existence to. Thankfully, they stopped working on it. So after 5 years, when it started leaning, they stopped working, and almost for 100 years, they didn't work on the tower. Also, what helped indirectly is that the states were all fighting with each other. So Pisa was fighting with Genoa, was fighting with Florence, was fighting. All these states were different, areas, and they were all fighting with each other. And people were busy. So the people from Pisa just forgot about the tower for them. And that actually helped, because the soft land below, it got time to stabilize. And that's how the tower stabilized. And then finally, they started rebuilding it. And at that time, I find it really interesting that the things that they did to make sure that they would preserve it. So one of these things was actually done as they were building it. And Giovanni di Simone, so in 1264, he was a master builder, and he was given the task of rebuilding it again. So they came up with this great idea that let's make one side of the floor taller than the other, and that'll kind of autocorrect the tower. So they started doing that. So if you really pay attention, the next time you go to Pisa, you realize that the tower is a little curved, because one side is taller than the other.
Would you call it Italian jugaad?
Something like that, or Italian intelligence for that matter. And they went on building it, but after that, and for me, I think the Italians were not too happy about it, was when in 1934, because it really started leaning a lot, and the Italian dictator Mussolini, he came in and got amazing ideas, which did really work out well, was to drill holes into the foundation itself and put cement in there, thinking that the cement would help to stabilize it. And it made things worse, and the tower started leaning even further. Finally, the Italian government said things have to stop here, and they came in. The tower was closed in 1990, and then they did drill holes, but not on the side it was leaning, but on the opposite side into the ground, and they took the soil off. So they did nothing to the tower, but they just removed some soil, so that it's like how we have the photographs, and if we take a bad photo, we can just correct the tilt now on our cameras, right, when you edit. So something like that, but in real life. So they took soil off, and then the tower is now stabilized. And thankfully, they say that we don't have to worry for the next 200 to 300 years at least. So which means that it opened in 2001 again. And yes, you can climb up the 294 or 296 steps and reach up to the 7 bells that are waiting for you up there.
There is an interesting story about those 7 bells also, right?
Mm-hmm.
They denote what? Musical notes?
Yes. So in classical music, you have the major and the minor. And these 7 bells denote they are representing the 7 notes of the major notes of classical music. Unfortunately, they've not been ringing since the last century because people were really worried that if the bells ring really loudly, maybe the tower will lean even further. But yeah, they're just it's really quite beautiful because that's the whole point of a bell tower, right? To call people to service, to call people to pray. So you do have the tower, but it's not being used for the purpose that it should have been used.
Yeah, and the story goes that the bells also were removed at some point to ensure that the tower
Yes.
stabilized. But a few like threads I'm going to pick up from what you just said. The foundation, like you mentioned earlier that the foundation of the tower was like, while the tower was being built, it started tilting and work stopped. And as a result, the tower stabilized. And they say that had they not stopped work and continued building the tower, then it would have toppled eventually because it started leaning. But I think it would have toppled eventually. But another story, Sunila, I have is that who actually financed the building of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And it so happens that in the year 1172, because the tower, like the foundations for the tower were laid in about 1173. But in the year 1172, there was a video by the name of Donna Berta di Bernardo, who was a resident of the house of dell'Opera di Santa Maria. And what she did was she left behind, like, in her will, 60 soldi. Now, what is a soldi? A soldi is like an Italian medieval silver coin, which is like currency during then. Like, that was issued for the first time in about the late 12th century by the emperor in Milan, who was Henry VI. And the soldi name is derived from the Roman coin solidus. So she left behind 60 soldi to the opera, like of the area of Pisa or something like that. And this was actually used, to build the foundation of the tower. And since then work began, and work went on for a long time because they had stopped construction. But the second story that I have about the Leaning Tower is actually more interesting because people often talk about how the Leaning Tower was built, how it took 2 centuries to build it. But a lot of the history surrounding the Leaning Tower of Pisa comes about after the tower was actually built. And it was during World War II, like World War II, when the Allies were fighting the Germans. It was the Allies who suspected that the Germans were using the tower as an observatory or an observation post. So a US Army sergeant who goes by the name of Leon Weckstein was actually sent to confirm whether there are German troops in the tower or not.
Inside, yeah.
And I think there were still German troops inside the tower, but when this sergeant reached the tower and the cathedrals around it and all of that, he was so impressed by it. He was so awed by the beauty of the tower that he refrained from ordering an artillery strike on the tower, sparing it from destruction. Because had that happened, so many tourists going to Pisa and looking at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is beautiful. The white structure that we see today wouldn't have been there at all. And imagine not having the Leaning Tower of Pisa for us. It would have been
just think
very
of
upsetting, right?
Even at that point, Neil, it must have been such a wonderful place to, keep a lookout for the enemy. So the Germans were, of course, occupying it, but I think we have a lot to thank the Americans for not destroying it and being awed by the beauty and keeping it for all of us to go there and also look at it. It's so beautiful that just imagine it. There was a Leaning Tower, we'd have to say, but yeah, it's amazing that it's still there. But it's not the only Leaning Tower in Pisa, actually. There are many other towers like the Church of Saint Nicola and the other things there. In Pisa's Borgo Stretto area and all, which are also leaning because the entire land is marshy. So I think it would be better for them to they should have just constructed lower structures rather than trying to build the towers. And of course, the race to build the tallest and the tallest is there even today, right? I mean, we are enjoying that, and we've spoken of it in our earlier episodes as well. But yes, that's how the whole tower.
That's what Italy is about, right? Like, you need not be the most leaning tower in the world. But what Italy shows you is art pieces, frescoes, mosaics, culture, history, everything, a confluence of everything. You see that in the Vatican, you see that in Rome, you see that in Venice, you see that in Pisa. And that is what makes it stunning. So you need not be in the Guinness Book of World Records, but you are still stunning. And it deserves a trip. Because, like, do you remember the story of the Trevi Fountain in Rome, right? They say,
Yes.
like, they want tourists to come back again. So they say that, your back should be towards the fountain. You flip a coin the first time.
Over your
What does it?
shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you flip the coin with your right hand over the shoulder. Anyone who's watched Roman Holiday would know that. And I do that every time I go there. I mean, it's, I know that I will travel that again, but I still do it. It
No,
just
but tell us the
makes me
story.
feel
Tell us the
happy.
story of the 3 times that you have to flip it, or you'll come to Rome again and again. What is that?
Yeah, so the whole point is that you have to stand there with your back to it. You should not see it. Have a coin in your hand and flip it across your shoulder 3 times so that you will reach there. I'm just wondering, in the world of Google Pay and Paytms and all of that, whether we will have any coins left to really throw in there, or maybe someone will sell coins to keep throwing there. And I was just saying that every time I go, I do it. I just do it. And also, there's another trick of the Trevi Fountain, which is that really one of the windows is not a window. But we'll talk about that when we come to the Trevi
we'll come to the
Fountain.
Trevi Fountain.
Yeah.
But you know how much money gets collected at the Trevi Fountain?
No idea.
Well,
But I'd love to imagine.
we are soon launching an episode of our Hindi travel podcast, Chalo Bag Bharo Nikal Pado. In that, our tour manager Kunal, he's talking about Rome as a city, and in that he's mentioned how much money gets collected every day by just the tossing of coins, which is quite interesting. So you should probably check that out. But let's come back to the Leaning Tower. And as we reach the end of the episode, I just have one thing. When the tower is leaning like this, natural disasters like an earthquake or something would be dangerous, right? But the Leaning Tower has actually survived 4 earthquakes since 1280, that since then. And often people used to be puzzled that, how can a tower that is leaning like this not fall off? And no one really knew. But 16 engineers actually went about doing a study, and they found out that there is something called dynamic soil structure formation or dynamic soil structure interaction, which is like basically the height and stiffness of the tower together with the softness of the soil and foundation, like the softness of the foundational soil, influences the characteristics that hold the tower together. So it's held on stiff ground, even if to the naked eye it is like, oh, it's leaning quite a lot. So that was the Leaning Tower. As we reach the end of the episode, what do you want to say, Samina?
Neil, just 2 more things. One is, one of the surprising facts is that the tower in between, when it started leaning and they tried to preserve it, actually started leaning in the opposite direction for some time, and then again came back to leaning in this direction. So I'm just thinking, what must have happened to the people who are living around there? Because when they tried to conserve it, of course, they had to evacuate the people around the area as well. Just imagine living in that vicinity, looking at that beautiful structure every day and wondering, is it going to fall on us? What is going to happen to us as well? And you tend to develop an affinity. You love the monuments in your country. You don't want them to fall down. You want to conserve them. But yes, you're also worried about yourself, right? And you did mention how beautifully it is done. It may not be the tallest, but I think it is one of the most beautiful leaning towers anywhere in the world.
But
and just to note
you
on,
mentioned, like there's a Leaning Tower of India also, right?
there's not a tower. I'll come to that, but just to complete our notes on the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So the architecture is also a confluence. So you have both the Romanesque style, and then on the top, the belfry is actually the Gothic style. And you will see the thin columns when you go there. Because it took like some 200 years to build, of course, the styles changed and everything changed. So you actually see that happening. And I think that's amazing to really see history like that, which tells you so much more than just reading about it in a textbook or so. And yes, coming to India, we actually have a temple that is leaning, and that is in Varanasi, the place where of temples and of gods, and and somewhere I'm going to be visiting next week, in fact. So I'm surely going to check it out. And this is called the Ratneshwar temple on the Manikarnika Ghat. And actually that has been leaning for some 400-500 years. So we have our own leaning temple in India, and I'll definitely tell you about it when I'm back. It's supposed to lean quite a bit as well, something like 9-degree lean. So it'll be interesting to see that.
So as we end the episode, Sunila, where are you traveling to, like, over the next 3 months?
I'm really excited because the first travel next week is going to be Varanasi, and I'm really excited because this is my second trip to Varanasi. And for anyone who's not gone there, I will suggest pack your bags and get there. It is a beautiful place. I'm actually going for Dev Diwali. So I'm looking forward to the ghats, which would be lit up with thousands of lamps. So that's going to be a sight to behold. In December, I'm hoping to go to Switzerland, and January, Finland. So after 2 years, I'm going to be taking off outside India, and I'm so happy.
Oh, so we've done an episode on Switzerland and you're traveling there. We've done an episode on Finland.
On Finland,
You're
yes.
on Finland, you're traveling there. Maybe like in a few weeks, we'll also cover Varanasi once you're back. But make sure you check out the Ganga Aarti that is out there.
Definitely.
But thanks a lot, Sunila. Like that was the Leaning Tower of Pisa, listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have changed my background because we are back at offices and Veena World like is back at office and people are traveling again. And as we speak, there are 80 tours going on and more than 1,400 people on road. So thank you so much for listening in. We'll come back to you next week with another marvelous place in the world. Until then, take care, stay safe, and as we say at Veena World, chalo bag bharo nikal pado. See you. Goodbye.
Bye.